All right, let's talk about one of the biggest, most exciting ideas in all of science, the dream of free energy. But we're also going to get into why, thanks to the fundamental rules of the universe, it's got to stay a dream. Just picture this for a second. You've got this one machine, right, tucked away in your basement, just humming along, and it powers everything you own, forever. You'd never have to plug it in, never have to fill it up with anything, and those electricity bills we all love getting every month, yeah, they just vanish. I mean, that's the ultimate dream, right? Infinite, clean, totally free power. It's no wonder people have been chasing this idea for, centuries. So you gotta ask, if it's such a great idea, why are we all still stuck paying our power bills? Why hasn't some genius figured this out? Well, the answer isn't about better engineering. It's about the fundamental rules of reality itself. Okay, so before we tear it down, let's look at why the whole idea of free energy is so tempting, why it feels so possible. Because honestly, it kind of seems logical, and there's a really good reason for that. I mean, just look around you. The sun comes up every day, it just shines. The wind blows, it doesn't seem to run out. You stick a magnet on your fridge, and it'll just sit there holding up that pizza menu for years without needing a battery change. It really feels like energy is just everywhere, and we should be able to grab it and use it over and over. And here's the real kicker. This goes back to something we all learned in science class, right? The first law of thermodynamics. Energy can't be created or destroyed. So if you can't destroy it, why can't you just, recycle it forever in a closed loop? It seems so obvious. But there's a catch, a huge one. And this is where we get to the heart of the matter. The one little detail, this crucial distinction that completely unravels the entire dream of free energy. Okay, so here it is, the big secret. The truth is, yes, the total amount of energy in the universe stays the same. That's a fact. But here's the misunderstanding. The idea that all of that energy is useful. See, the amount of energy you can actually use to do something, like power your phone, that amount is always going down. And that, right there, changes everything. Just think about your car, right? The energy from the gasoline makes the car move, but your engine gets super hot, doesn't it? That heat is wasted energy. It's just leaking out, spreading into the air around you. The energy isn't gone, it's still there, but it's so spread out, so disorganized that you can't use it to do anything useful anymore. And this isn't because we build bad engines. It's a hard and fast rule of the universe. So this unavoidable loss, it's like a universal tax on energy. Every single time energy is used, a little bit gets taken away. And this tax has a name. It's basically the villain in the story of every single free energy machine ever dreamed up. Yep, you guessed it, it's called the second law of thermodynamics. This is one of the absolute bedrock principles of physics. And what it really says is, you can't break even. You don't just not win, you always lose a little bit, every single time. At the heart of this law is a concept called entropy. Now, you might have heard it called disorder. Think of it like this. A clean, organized room has low entropy. A messy room has high entropy. The universe loves messy rooms. The second law says that over time, everything naturally gets more disordered. That heat leaking from your car engine, that's energy spreading out, becoming less useful, becoming more disordered. That's entropy in action. So, what does this all mean for a free energy machine? It means to make it work, you'd need to build a system that breaks this rule. A machine that's 100% perfect. No friction, no air getting in the way, no heat escaping, no energy loss at all. You'd need a system with zero loss. And here's the thing. In the real world, zero just doesn't exist. Let's make this more concrete. We can see this universal energy tax at work in even the simplest examples you can imagine. So let's picture the classic thought experiment. A perfect wheel, perfectly balanced, floating in a total vacuum. You give it one good spin. What could possibly slow it down? Well, it turns out physics always finds a way. Even if you could get rid of all the air, there's still the axle it's spinning on. There's going to be a tiny, tiny bit of friction there. That friction creates a little bit of heat, and poof, that's energy leaking away. Heck, even the atoms inside the wheel itself are vibrating, and that creates sound and heat, which is more energy lost. Every little tiny interaction steals an impossibly small bit of momentum. It might spin for a really long time, but sooner or later it has to stop. It's inevitable. And this is the same problem with all those other things that look like free energy. People love to talk about magnets, but magnets don't create energy out of nothing, they just redirect forces that are already there. Gravity? When a ball rolls downhill, it's not making new energy, it's just cashing in the potential energy it had at the top. Even the sun. It seems infinite to us, but it's really just a giant nuclear reactor that's slowly but surely burning through its fuel. It's got a long life ahead of it, for sure, but it will eventually run out. So you see, this isn't just about debunking some cool invention. This whole concept points to something way deeper, something fundamental about how our reality is built. I love this quote. The universe never gives energy away for free. It only lends it with interest. That's a perfect way to think about it. Every single time you use energy, you have to pay that interest in the form of entropy. No exceptions, no loopholes. And just imagine for a second if this law didn't exist. Things would get weird. Really weird. Your lukewarm coffee could suddenly separate itself into a boiling hot part and an icy cold part. An ice cube could just decide to form in a glass of warm water. In fact, the arrow of time itself, the reason we remember the past but not the future, is tied to entropy always increasing. Without it, our universe would be a completely chaotic, nonsensical place. So, you see, this cosmic tax, this constant energy loss, it isn't a flaw in the system. It's not a bug. It's a feature. It's how the universe keeps things in order and makes sure that cause always comes before effect. So when you really think about it, the fact that free energy is impossible isn't some big disappointment. It's actually a kind of guarantee. It tells us we live in a universe that makes sense, a universe with consistent rules. These limits aren't here to hold us back. They're the very foundation that makes reality stable enough for things like, well, us to exist. So the universe has this unbreakable rule, a tax on energy that keeps everything stable, which gets you thinking about other unbreakable rules, right? And that brings us to the next big question. Join us next time as we dive into why nothing can travel faster than the speed of light without completely shattering time itself.